What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you are watching this video right now, congratulations, you're part of my Patreon. So I wanted to give you guys a little insight on how my actual practice rounds go. So on each hole, I'm going to break down what the hole's doing and why I'm choosing the shot and route that I am going to choose for that hole. So I'm happy for you to tag along. So this is a par 4, 476 feet. And as you can see, there's a little bit of out of bounds in the middle. That's not gonna be a problem for me because I can carry a good 430 right around there on hyzer. And that's gonna be exactly what I do here. I'm gonna try to throw a hyzer flip that gets to flat and then buries into the wood line because the basket's a good 100 feet to the left of the wood line. Now the reason I'm gonna throw the ESP nuke is because I know this stability. I know it's never gonna flip over and it can't get to that wood line, which is probably about 470. And then I can play that skip into the wood line. I actually hit a tree coming in, but it was a pretty good shot. All right, so this isn't rocket science. Obviously, I have the biggest gap over here, which will give me the best chance to give it a good run without, a lot of trouble. Obviously, I could go through any of these, but we're not gonna choose that today. Oh. Okay, hole 2 is a par 3, 268 feet, dog leg right. I'm gonna go to the trusty Raptor on this one. I know with this, if I run directly towards where I want my release point to be, then I'm gonna have a better chance of hitting that initial gap. I always play this way. I wanna hit the initial gap no matter what, then let the disc do the work at the end. So just like the last hole, I know that the Raptor, if I throw it flat, can't get to the end of the wood line in the fairway. And then its natural stability will go a little bit right and make that corner. I'm gonna try to put a little bit of hyzer on it. That way I can take the left side out of play. If I go completely flat, I could pull it into that left side. So by having a little bit of hyzer, I'm able to make my angle a bit better to go that way. Pretty good shot, good skip over there to the right. It's a pretty cold day today, and it looks like somebody else had a not similar result to mine. I should probably mention that I'm at Kilborne Park here in Charlotte. I'll tell you guys the whole distances and such, but yeah, we're at Kilborne Park. I'm playing the regular tees, so not the long tees, and I'm definitely not playing to the long baskets. So on the last hole, I walked up with my bag on and just tapped it in. That's the range that I'll do that, especially when filming, so I can get done a bit quicker. Just started raining. My hand's pretty cold. This is a good 18 to 20 feet to the basket. You don't want to take these for granted, so I go through my whole routine, especially when I'm practicing by myself. The one thing I want to focus on is getting my hand to my release point. I don't care if it goes in, I just want to do my form. If I do that, I know it'll go in. And I want these 2 putts to be duplicated. I'm going to tell you this once, that way I don't have to explain it the rest of the round. But that's what I'm going to be focusing on when I'm in the circle. All right, so I'm 2 under par after the first 2. I'm to another par 4. Now I'm actually gonna take a really sketchy route on this left-hand side, because if I pure that side, I'm actually going to get to the green. So this is like not very smart if you don't know your own game. I know my game and I know I'm pretty accurate. Along with that, I know my scramble distance. Now this is something I want you guys to really focus in on. I know my scramble distance. So if I hit one of these early trees, I know that I'll be able to get up and down possibly from that location and still get birdie, especially if I get a good kick out to the right. So this is an educated risk because I know how far I can be out of position and have a distance, a scramble shot to get into position to still get a birdie. All right, we got through. Okay, you can see I'm actually really obstructed going into the green. This is another thing that I want you guys to understand, is I have this little tiny gap on the right, I have the gaps on the left, but I know that that gap on the left can be bigger if I can work my disc from left to right, and I'm gonna show you why. From the naked eye, it looks about 2 feet. So if I were to go straight up the basket, not a good route to pick. But as we move to the left here, that gap is actually a good 30 feet wide. So I'm going to take my disc from left to right with a semi-stable disc, and that's going to make that gap as big as possible. Now I actually got a little lucky on that one. I was able to hit the initial gap, which is really big. I call these bogey trees. The first one on the left is a bogey tree. The first one on the right is a bogey tree, because then it might be difficult for me to get up and down. Now, I took those two out great, but I didn't turn it over enough. I'll try to make the correction. Same mistake. I'll try to make the correction. Now, I've been called the luckiest player on tour before from other touring pros. I don't believe that. I think my decision making and the way that I go through a hole has a lot to do with my luck. Calculated risks. On the last hole, I aimed for that inside gap, knowing that I could scramble and get up and down from any position under that distance. Now, when I got through, I actually was in another tough position. But by the way I broke that shot down, I was able to get lucky through the inside gap because I hit the big initial gap. So I believe I'm not lucky. I believe that I'm actually playing a bit more intelligent than some people might think. With that being said, we're 3 down through 3 holes. Hole 4 is 304 feet. 305 feet, pardon me. I'm gonna take my Page Pierce Buzz, and I know my release point today has been a bit late. So I'm actually going to aim a foot to the right of the second tree on the right. That way, if I peer it, I'm golden. And if I pull it off of that tree, I still have a big amount of miss on the right-hand side. That's picture perfect right there. I played my miss, and because I did that, I was able to actually take it directly down the fairway. There's a saying, aim small, miss small. I don't believe that. I believe in aiming small and missing big, but understanding your miss. That way when you miss big, you still get the birdie. Okay, I actually went a bit farther than I thought. So I have about a 30-footer. I also have this tree on the right. Luckily in my career, I've practiced a lot of Anheuser putts, so I'm comfortable with taking this one from left to right and taking that other tree kind of out of play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my extra inches here so that this doesn't bother me. And I'm actually going to aim high left with Anheuser. That way I can pull the disc through the basket and make the basket as big as possible. Another calculated miss. I normally don't miss left, so I pull my Anheuser putt. That way I aim to the left. If I hit it perfectly, it goes in. And if I pull it, I hit the stripe and it also goes in. All right, guys, I'm 4 down through 4 holes. I'm getting a little nervous with you guys watching. We're to hole 5, par 3, 285 feet. And that's how I'm gonna break down this hole. As you can see, there's a middle tree. That's my bogey tree. I have to miss that one at all costs. I have a Flippy Buzz SS. Tim Barham, shout out to my boy. I'm going to aim with hyzer to the left side to completely avoid bogey tree. And I know this is understable, so if I throw it hard, it's going to then tilt and then drift and hopefully goes right across that basket. Height's a big key here. I don't want it too high and I don't want it too low. Too low is better than too high though, because I can still slide on the ground up to the basket. I almost make it. Now my height was a little off right there. That's why I went past. If it was a little bit lower, I probably would have thrown that one in. Now here's part of the reason why height was so important. I know it doesn't seem like it from the tee, but it actually goes downhill a bit. And there's a nice backstop behind the basket. So if I can get the height right, then I actually have a backstop. So I can be a bit more aggressive on throwing direct, and I don't have to worry about going past. But because I missed my line and my height, I went past that log, so I have a farther putt than I wanted. That was about 42 feet or something like that. I missed the first one, but I was able to make the correction on the second putt, which was nice. At least if you're practicing or you're playing a practice round, miss the first one, calculate why you missed it. Don't just fire the next one. Calculate why you missed the first one, make the correction on the second one. That way you can have confidence going into the next few holes and you're actually learning instead of just dry firing for no reason. Okay, so a lot of you might be wondering, and I've gotten this question a bunch, why do I putt and hyzer from about 40 feet or just outside the circle? And the reason I do that is because my confidence is at an all-time high from that distance. So I'm able to go to there and know that I'm going to make that putt. Now, I didn't on the last hole, but like I said, I was able to make the correction. And let's see, moving forward through this 9 holes, if I face another 40-footer, if I am able to make that correction from the last hole. So we're 4 down through 5 holes, pretty good start. We were about a foot away from being 6 down through 5, but instead we're 4 down. We're on hole 6 now, par 3, 354 feet, big dog leg from left to right. Now normally I would throw a sidearm, but I'm really been working on my backhand, especially for the tour coming up here soon in Vegas. And so I'm going to try to take something. As you can see, there's a couple high branches. I'm going to have to go right in below those in order to make the corner and have the height to get to the basket. So I'm only going to be focusing on one thing, and that's my height. I know that if I throw the right disc, I'm going to throw that Buzz SS again. If I throw that at the right height, it's going to make it around the corner and at least have a 30 to 40 footer. Okay, I didn't get it quite turned over enough, but because I got the height right, it still drifted around the corner and I probably have about a 30 to 40 footer, like I said. Because this is for my Patreon channel, I want you guys to know you're getting first dibs at this video. After some time of you guys being able to watch it, I am going to release it to the public because I do believe everybody should be granted this kind of information. I don't think a lot of people are doing it. With that being said, I would like to thank a couple sponsors as well, Bushnell Discraft, Ledgestone, and Grip Equipment. As you can tell, I'm carrying a nice grip bag. I'm wearing a big B on my chest. I got my Discraft hat, and Ledgestone provides me with a lot of gear for this year. You'll be seeing that on tour. I'm actually a bit closer than I thought I was. And the cool thing about that is it's a fun little game you can play. You could always prepare for the farthest putt you can have. Always prepare for the worst. Don't prepare to be parked, because that's rarely the case. Then you get up there and you can maybe create some nerves that wouldn't be there if you didn't have that thought. Focus on as far away as it could the result could have possibly have been. Then when I come to this, I don't have any nerves, and I'm happy that I'm closer than I thought I was. It's actually pretty cool. I'm playing pretty well with you guys watching. Okay guys, I'm 5 down through 6 holes. I'm to hole 7, 245 feet. The one thing I know about this is if I throw a backhand, there's actually a big poofy tree that overhangs the fairway. A lot of times you get caught up with a nice line coming in the basket. So I am gonna throw a sidearm, and I want it to be pretty low so I can take that tree out of play. That's why practicing your courses and looking up is very important, because the one time you decide to play a different shot, you can actually hit things you didn't know was there. I'm gonna throw with a little bit of hyzer and follow through up. Make sure it's a pretty steep angle, that way I have a better chance of getting a skip. Okay, I was parked on the last hole, no problem. We're at 6 down through 7 holes. Hole 8, 215 feet. Now this is another one where a lot of people might throw mid-range through this gap. I don't like that, because I make the gap skinnier when I throw a mid-range, because I'm gonna have to throw it flat or with hyzer. Now I tend to like to throw overstable discs on anhyzer when I have trees that are offset like this, because then again, if I can take it with a little ante, I actually make the disc bigger when I'm moving from left to right. I'll show you again. That gap is actually huge. So now by taking my most overstable disc, the machete, I'm gonna throw it on anhyzer, and I know this thing there's no way I can put enough anhyzer on it to make it not be able to come back. I'm gonna follow through with a baby anhyzer. It's gonna hook up, and I can't throw it very far because it doesn't like to fly. So I'm actually going to take the distance of going deep out of play as well. We did it. Like right there, me throwing an anhyzer through that gap, you might think it was going straight the whole time. Yeah, but I might have been able to take like an inch. Even 1 inch of making that gap 1 inch bigger can help you in your career in the long haul. Because if I release that a little bit early and that 1 inch makes me miss the tree by 1 inch, that's still a birdie. It still counts. All right, guys, we are 7 down through 8 holes. Now we're to another hole. This hole is, just give me a second. This is hole 9, 215 feet. Now again, I'm gonna actually throw a sidearm here, because as I said, when those trees are offset, I like to make the hole or the route as big as possible. The left tree and the right tree that you're trying to miss are actually like this. So if I bring something in from left to right, I'm gonna make that gap bigger. So normally I would throw a sidearm because the trees are offset again. And so by throwing a sidearm turnover, I would make the gap bigger. But I'm trying to practice the backhand today. So I'm actually gonna throw the Raptor. I'm gonna aim again, 1 inch off of that left tree right there. And if I miss it by 1 inch, I got a chance of making it. If I pull it to the right side, I still have a chance of making it. Ooh, going. Oh! See, and that's a perfect example of me aiming on an inch off that tree. I pured it, and I was still able to get it through the hole. If I were to have missed my line, then I can pull it all the way to the right side where that tree is and still get through the gap. Educated misses are so important when scoring in disc golf. Okay guys, because I got greedy on that last hole and I tried to make it, I got a nice flare skip to about 40 feet, 35 to 40 feet. In fact, I'm wondering exactly how far it is because the camera really sometimes doesn't do it justice. 34 feet is how far I am right here. Now, I would normally be a little bit nervous, but I actually missed one of these earlier in the round. So I'm feeling pretty confident that I can take that miss, learn from it, and put this one in the basket to finish my round and to finish 8 down through 9 holes, which is actually pretty impressive. All right, I wasn't able to make both. I missed barely on the last one. My footing actually was a little bit skeptical right here. It's pretty muddy, so I wasn't able to get a nice push off. I barely made the first one. I made a good correction off of that miss, and I didn't miss right until the second putt. But we did it. 8 down through 9 holes. That's a pretty good round. I hope you guys learned something from this round. Thank you so much for subscribing to my Patreon and to my channel. If you haven't already, please tell your friends about my channel. Hopefully they can learn something too. Thanks to everybody. Please leave a comment in the section below. Let me know that if you like this video, you want me to do more of stuff like this, then I will, because I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Peace.